I'm working on this light, y'all. Hold on. I ain't changed my light bulbs in the back yet. 3 still missing. Oh, but you can't tell really though. Huh. Maybe I'll leave that on. Okay. Greetings. Greetings. Hold on, y'all. Bring Facebook up. I wonder if my son took my book. I'm looking for my McGee. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is December the 6th, 2022, day 281 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,301. Today we're picking back up in Oahspe in book of Oahspe, son of Jehovah, on page 77 with chapter 12. And then once we get done here, we're going to hop back over to the Field Guide to the Spirit World on page 166 and read a little bit more, chapter 7. Countless mental vagaries. All right, Father, we thank you that there is nothing that you create that doesn't have purpose. All right, y'all, we're about to get right to it. But before we start, we got to say hey to everybody. Everybody hanging out in the background and all those present and chatting with us live. Vinette, Shebrew, Tabitha, hey girls, hey, Elijah, Grand Rising. Thank you for the email. I was looking for my Holy Megillah so I can actually read that point. I don't remember taking upstairs. I think my son got it. Before we start, I want to read that real quick. But I need to run through the house and look for it again. All right. Kendrick, shalom, shalom. Dawn, what's good, fam? What's good? Anita, greetings. And I already said, hey to everybody hanging out in the background of YouTube and Facebook. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure Bella ain't moved it. Be right back. Found it, y'all. All right. Okay, so real quick, let me catch my breath. Elijah made a mention of something yesterday. Tickler, hey girl, hey. Nazarene is saying shalom, shalom. Jamia, shalom. Hannah, Grand Rising. Okay. Elijah mentioned something yesterday. He said it's on page 86 and 87. Let me go back and read his comment again. Oh, yeah. 12 tribes of workers. There we go. I didn't pull it up yesterday because I ain't had a chance to go to it. But I put it in my notes so we can do it this morning. Oh, that's good. Okay, hold on. Let me bring up his note. Like, okay. So yesterday while we were reading, I brought up something about the gentleman Whitley Strieber at the beginning of here, who in the four was it the fourth of this book, he has some of his books listed, and his book, The Afterlife Revolution, I mentioned yesterday because in it, in a chapter, I forget which chapter, I still didn't go back and look up the chapter, but in there it talks about how the spirits who have already passed into the eternal realm, right? Those in the spirit realm, how they can see us, not just like our flesh, but also the light that comes from us, right? So they can see how bright we shine or how dark we are dimmed, right? And like spirits are gathered to light, right? And so they can locate people by their light. And I thought it was really interesting. And that's when Elijah said that he read about that in the Holy Megillah. So he said, chapter 14, verses 29 all the way through 34, and pages 86 and 87 points out how we as it should be R, points out how we are a Nazarene spiritual nation by doing the holy works, whether it's teaching and helping. Okay. By doing, hold on, let me fix the word. R, hold on. I'm gonna leave this note here. R, and helping those. Okay. By doing the holy works, whether it's teaching and helping those who have passed on or still living on the earth, are like a light to spirits in the darkness. So that's what he was talking about. So we're going to go here real quick and we're going to look over this. If you got it, or you might be able to pull up your copy. Okay, so page 86 and 87. Let me see if I can I see right here where it's a nation. Yep, I see that. Okay. I just want to pull out the points so we can hit it real quick. I don't want to read all of it word for word like I really do, but I'm not going to read all of it. Any condition permits. Oh, okay, yeah, I see exactly what it's talking about. Okay. Listen to this. You would think you was reading Oahspe. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Okay. So let me go over here. Probably should start right here. Okay, so the chapter is entitled, it's chapter 14 by here Shibbathayim, which is fourth candle, the 12 tribes of Israel, or it says Yisrael. You know, I almost want to say, let me just read it. Somebody, Oahspe College University, I forget how to pronounce your first name. I keep calling you Oahspe College University. Said that when you purchase something, you have the rights to, which I do understand, we have the rights to quote from it and use it as, not for monetary gain or anything like that, right? But just in case y'all don't have it, hold on. Right. Let me read it because this is explaining. And I think I'll just stop right here. The 12 tribes of workers of one nation. Many levels. Yeah, I don't want to read all of it. All of it is good. What I do, oh, yeah, it's 372 verses. That'll be our whole hour. Okay. Bronze Yoke report shalom. Okay. So, Kez Buzot. Okay. This is so good right here because I'm gonna have to read all the footnotes. So let me just go. Well, what we're looking for is on verse 29, right? But I don't want to just read that out without giving you this right here because I think all of that is needful. So let's just go for it. All right. Here's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go to verse 39 real quick. Okay. Page 85 if you have like the PDF version, right? Page 85. By here, I may be saying this wrong. By here, Shebatham, fourth candle, the 12 tribes of Yisrael. Receive now the fourth candle of the Bahir Shebathaim. The fourth candle illuminates the Am Yisrael. And after Yisrael is reference number 1, right? So reference number 1 down at the bottom says, the Hebrew term Am Yisrael literally means people of Yisrael, but in the context of this paragraph is best translated as nation of Yisrael, right? So you go back up. The fourth candle illuminates the Am Yisrael, which is the nation of Yisrael or Israel. The Sheni Hugim, the 2 circles that form one church, shall be the Am Ehad, and not the Ehad, shall be the Am Ehad, one nation. And after Ehad is reference number 2. And 2 says Am Ehad in this context means one nation. Verse 4, the name of our nation is Yisrael, which means right relationship with Elohim. That's interesting, right? And after Yisrael here is reference number 3. And 3 down at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Yisrael literally means right with Elohim and implies right relationship with Elohim. This is in contrast to the Hebrew word Yisrael, Israel, which means he will rule as Elohim or he will rule as God. Elohim is like another word for God, right? And at the beginning of this, when you read this, you got to read like the preface and all of that stuff, right? Make sure you keep all the notes within context so you know who it's talking about. All those who take refuge in the Lord and Lady by accepting the Bahir Shebathayim have new life as citizens of Israel. Also, let me point out when you hear Lord and Lady, it talks about the feminine. It adds the feminine piece back into, whereas when we read the Bible, everything is just male, right? And the women are just there like accessories or for help for the men, all right? This brings the balance back, just like Oahspe does with the female. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Verse 6. Yea, there will be many Nazarene, Kebuzot, but they all form one Nazarene nation. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me go back because I didn't finish this footnote for 3. Let me reread the footnote 3 again, which was after Yisrael. The Hebrew word Yisrael literally means right with Elohim and implies right relationship with Elohim. This is in contrast to the Hebrew word Yisrael, Israel, which means he will rule as Elohim. Some authorities translate Israel as he struggles with Elohim. By either translation, Yisrael, Israel, implies a wrong relationship with Elohim. That is in direct contrast to the word Yisrael, which the Nazarene nation, by which the Nazarene nation is designed. Okay, go back up. Verse 6. Yea, there will be many Nazarene Kebuzot, Quebutzot. And after Kubuzot is reference number 4. And it says the Nazarene Hebrew word Kebuzot means communal settlements. In singular form, it is kibbutza. Oh, right, kibbutz, right. Yeah, a kibbutz. It's like a community, right? A kibbutz. Okay. In singular form, it is kibbutza. These settlements often feature a communal economy, though some were less so and could best be described as cooperatives or communities, right? The ancient Nazarene kibbuzot are not to be confused with those of modern Israel. The word kibbutza is from biblical days and was adopted in modern Israel when they began to form cooperative villages. Okay, go back up, verse 7. Behold, a time comes when the kibbuzot will be attacked by the forces of darkness, and Nazarenes will be dispersed to live in private homes in the towns and nations of the worldly, lest they be slaughtered one and all. Lo, even in those days, all who accept the Bahir Shabbatayim shall remain one nation, living in the world, but not of the world. Their guidance shall come not from the rulers of the world, but from the priesthood of the Lord and Lady. Yea, let the dispersed Nazarenes gather in local kehilot, which are congregations, to receive guidance from the Nazarene. And kehilot is reference number 5. And at the bottom it says, in this context, the Hebrew word kehilot means congregations. In singular form, it is kehilah. Verse 11, and let all the Kehulat receive guidance from the Hekal, the mother temple. And after him, Hekal's reference number 6. The Hebrew term Hekal means mother temple. Verse 12, behold, Abdiel. Abdiel here is referring to Abel, right? So in different versions, their names are similar, but it's talking about like the same people or the same group of people. Elijah, and in the Holy Megillah, it does say that the Black people in Americas in the introduction have the 360-degree knowledge. Like, I got to go back because I've been skipping around in here, Elijah. Give me that page number 2. Okay, hold on. Verse 12, behold, Abdiel, even as you shall found Yisrael, which is the nation of those in right relationship with Elohim, right? And they are scattered all throughout the world, just like we learn about here in Oahspe, but Oahspe refers to them as faithists, right? Okay. Behold, Abdiel, even as you shall found Yisrael, which is the nation of those in right relationship with Elohim, there shall be a multitude of other nations, right? So also in Oahspe, it talks about Abel. Well, in the Bible, it says Abel was an individual person, but he was the righteous one. In Oahspe, it says Abel was a group of righteous people. Here is alluding to the same thing in verse 12. Behold, Abdiel. Abdiel is another name for Abel, and explains that a little bit earlier on. Behold, Abdiel, even as you shall found Yisrael, which is the nation of those in right relationship with Elohim or with Creator, there shall be a multitude of other nations. Yea, you will be greatly outnumbered. And all the multitude of nations outside of Yisrael are united by one thing. They wish to rule in place of Elohim, or they wish to be your creator, like what we see here in Oahspe. They telling you ain't nobody higher than me, right? So don't even worry about that. I am your creator, right? They all be faking the funk with those who have gotten out of the line of light with creator. Verse 15, yea, they struggle against Elohim when they should serve Elohim. Wherefore we call those nations Yisrael. Oh, snap. Hold on. There is a difference. I just caught that. Okay. Yesarel is Yesar apostrophe El, right? Those are the ones in right relationship. Down here, it's Yisrael, Yisra apostrophe El, right? And this is the one that we see a lot of times throughout scripture. Ki shalom, shalom. Okay. It's in chapter 14 too. The 360 degree, 14. Oh, that's probably if we read all the way to the end. Can you do me hold on. Let me see. Does it have the number 360? Like, is it 360 or is it spelled out? Because maybe I can pinpoint exactly where it is. Or you can give me the page number and we can jump there, because this is like almost 400 verses. Oh, he was responding to email. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so that's the difference between Yisrael and Yisrael, right? Okay, verse 15. No, let me go back to 14. And all the multitude of nations outside of Yisrael are united by one thing. They wish to rule in place of Elohim. Yea, they struggle against Elohim when they should serve Elohim. Wherefore we call those nations Yisrael. And it has reference number 7 after YISRA apostrophe EL. And 7 at the bottom says, Yisrael means Israel. However, in the above verse, Yisrael is a term used for all the multitude of nations outside of Yisrael, not just the one nation that came to be called Israel. Indeed, the nation of Israel did inherit via the Torah much of the animal sacrifice religion of the Canaanites. You hear that? They talk about this, y'all. Remember we was talking about that, how you are not to kill the creator's creations, man nor beast. This also talks about that, right? And they said they inherited this, like the priesthood of Israel has inherited lies, and that whole animal sacrifice portion that the priests are doing and that they're fighting to the bloody death of even today, trying to justify why they can still eat meat, bruh, you are still operating on the lies of the nations against creator. Listen to this. Listen. Indeed, the nation of Israel did inherit via the Torah much of the animal sacrifice religion of the Canaanites, but that and other Canaanite practices spread over the globe and was not confined to any one nation. And that we figured out. Remember how it's been like 2 years now, a couple years, as we was still reading through the Bible, right? As we was going back to the beginning and reading through the books of the prophets, how they was doing these sacrifices. And I kept telling y'all, I said, something is wrong about these sacrifices, y'all. Like, I can feel it. It won't let me go. Like, I really have to say that. In that time, I had already stopped eating meat. I wasn't making a connection yet, because previously back in 2010, I had got like real sick, right? And so then that's when I went cold turkey from meat and dairy. But it wasn't a religious thing why I did it. It's because my body was breaking down. And so they wanted to give me medicine and stuff. I was like, yeah, no. They had already given me metformin for diabetes and stuff, and they had increased the dosage. I said, absolutely not. I did not take the increase of that second dosage. I was like, I must be doing something wrong. I'm going to fix it. And that's when I started looking into how to heal the body naturally with foods, right? And so from that point, I've been plant-based, right? But once I cut out, when I went cold turkey from meat and dairy, my body started within, I'd say, matter of fact, within a 2-week time period, there was such a noticeable change that it lowered my blood sugar to normal levels. And every time I went, they kept testing my blood. I was like, you ain't gonna find no high blood, no sugar. You're not gonna find a high sugar reading from me. Even look, and that was when I was pregnant with Josh. And even after that, because they told me, they was like, Miss Murphy, this is not just gestational diabetes. Like, because of how high your sugar is, you would had to already have diabetes before even getting pregnant, right? I was like, okay. But I was like, even from that point, even because I went to the same doctor in the same hospital, had the last 4 children at the same place, because that was already in my medical record, they was always testing my blood sugar. They said, looks like you finally got this under control. I was like, yeah, I went plant-based. I stopped eating meat and dairy back with Josh, right? And they was like, well, if whatever's working for you, keep doing it, right? I was like, well, thank you very much. I said, you might want to try it. or recommend it to your other patients, right? But that was because my body was breaking down. And at that point, mind you, I was only eating clean meats. I wasn't doing any of the pork and stuff like the forbidden stuff in Torah. I was strictly Torah. I was Torah disciplined, right? But it was still causing my body to break down. And it was when I cut that out, the lamb on Passover, and that was really the only time I ate lamb was like around Passover time. But all the other stuff, the beef and all all the other stuff using substitutes, like they had beef bacon, right? I couldn't do the pork, but I love pepperoni and stuff. I found a substitute, but beef, all that stuff was still doing a number on me, right? Um, but anyway, back to this. This really gets into how the sacrifices from Israel were not ordained by the creator, right? They said this is really blasphemy against the creator, but nobody would listen because the priesthood of Israel was doing it, and they follow the Lord, and they must know what they're doing. How you gonna come back and tell us what we shouldn't be doing when they've been put in charge? No, bro, they put themselves in charge. They didn't just fool y'all real good, right? Israel today still fool about this thing, right? But all right, son, the whole point of bringing that up was um back a few years ago when we was reading through it, I was like, y'all, something is wrong about this. And I said, something is really, really wrong about the sacrifices. It won't let me go. Like, I'm really going to study this. And I ordered another Bible, and I started going through, just kind of marking out every place where it said the priesthood was doing sacrifices. And even through Leviticus chapter 23, when you remove the sacrifices out of the feast days and everything, where you're required to bring a lamb, or even on atonement and stuff, it flows beautifully and perfectly, and anybody can live it, right? Whether you had a priesthood or no priesthood, it's easy to follow the commands of life, but they mixed in the laws of death with the laws of life, and it's all through Torah, right? So now I know that was Creator inspiring me to look this up. Dawn said, I started my vegan journey after watching the documentary Dominion. I never heard of that. Then read the Sing Gospel of Peace, then Oahspe. I feel blessed to be on this journey. I know, right? Congratulations, sis. I know. All praises to the Creator for truth. Okay, let me finish reading this. Okay, so that was the end of this. Let me read this footnote again about Israel. Yisrael, Yisra apostrophe El, means Israel. However, in the above verse, Yisrael is a term used for all the multitude of nations outside of Yisrael, Yesar apostrophe El, not just the one nation that came to be called Israel, Israel. Indeed, the nation of Israel did inherit via the Torah much of the animal sacrifice religion of the Canaanites. That's something I wanted to say too. When you go and you read other nations' books, like we have the Torah, when we pass that along in the Bible, there are other books, and I mentioned a couple of them yesterday, like the Nebuchadnezzar tablets. There are some books written by a gentleman named his last name is Damon, but he has a lot of scrolls that he translated, and he worked closely with the Vatican, right? Canaan Lamech was one of them, one of the books. I got a whole bunch of them in there. I'll leave him so you can see when you read it from their perspective, right? It tells you almost like the same story that you read in the Bible, but it has those same sacrifices in there. And it's like, wait a minute, Israel does this. I'm like, what? They're doing this too? It's like almost the same type, like move for move. They're doing the same type of um slaughterings. Let's call them slaughterings of animals and use them as sacrifices to who they worship. It's like the same thing. And if you remove the names of the people in those books and just look at the actions of what they were doing, you would think they were one people, Israel and the heathen, because they were doing the same exact thing. It's crazy. Look, okay. Indeed, the nation of Israel did inherit via the Torah much of the animal sacrifice religion of the Canaanites, but that and other Canaanite practices spread over the globe and was not confined to any one nation. Okay, go back up. Verse 17. For to this, hold on. Let's go back up to 16. Wherefore we call those nations Yisrael, meaning the opposite of those in right relationship with the Creator. They've all strayed away. Wherefore we call those nations Yisrael, which means he would rule as Elohim. For to this world has come Lucifer, the soldier of Satan, and he has planted the tree of Yisrael in the soil and life of this world. For due to disobedience to the unwritten law, Adam and Eve fell and became citizens of Yisrael, meaning those who are against the laws of life. Yea, due to the Nephal or Nepal, Naphal, which is the fall, there was a need of the raising, and not the Nepal, or it could be Nephal. Naphal is reference number 8. And 8 down at the bottom says, the Hebrew word for Nepal means the fall. Yea, due to the Nephal, I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm gonna just keep going. Yea, due to the Nephal, which is the fall, Fall, there was need of the raising. Wherefore you should establish the Nazarene priesthood on this world. For with the fall of Adam and Eve, Mavet, Mavet, which is the way of death, reference number 9, the Hebrew word Mavet means death. For with the fall of Adam and Eve, Mavet, the way of death, entered this world. And wherever there is Mavet, there is need of the raising, which is resurrection from the way of death unto the way of life, which is all of what Oahspe teaches, right? It teaches you how to raise yourself up and also raise up others to the ways and paths of life that you will continue to progress, right? I thought this was amazing once I made the connection between this and Oahspe. And those of the way of life and the Lord and Lady are the Nazarenes. And even in dispersion, we are one nation, though scattered amongst the towns and nations of the world. Lo, when the days of dispersion come and the Kebuzot are no more, continue to meet in hidden congregations. But when conditions are favorable, Yisrael will form Kebutzot, which are communes of the Essene way, and all Kebuzot are under the guidance of Hekal, the mother temple. And here's where it gets into what Elijah was talking about, verse 29. I just keep reading. Behold, Yisrael is one nation, united in Ma'aseh Kodesh. This uses a lot of Hebrew words in here, but it gives you the definition. But Ma'aseh Kodesh is reference number 10, and it says the Hebrew term Ma'aseh Kodesh means holy work. The word Maseh means work. The word Kodesh means holy. Okay. Behold, Yisrael is one nation united in Maseh Kodesh, or holy work, which is holy work. Wherefore all citizens of Yisrael perform Ma'aseh Yah, the work of Yah, and it has a reference number 11. It tells you the Hebrew term for Ma'aseh Yah means work of Yah, or work of the Creator. Wherefore all citizens of Yisrael perform Maseh Yah, the work of Yah. Yea, all are Osim, O-S apostrophe I-M. All are workers. And Osim means, it's reference number 12, it says, Hebrew word for Osim means workers. Every member of this nation performs the raising up of one's self and others, for we are Nazarenes. Every Nazarene is a healer of the nations, for we live and teach the Essene way. And we see this all of through the Essene's gospel of peace. This teaches this and shows you how to do this. And if you got in the mail already, Radiance, this has, my mom hadn't ordered hers. It came, I was talking to her on the phone yesterday. I was upstairs coming out my room, and I looked out the window as I was coming out my room, and I saw a UPS truck. I said, oh, the UPS man is here. They might have my book. My mom was like, what? And I take off running down the stairs. Boy, you would have thought it was Christmas morning or something. Or I had just won a lotto or something. The way I ran down the stairs. That's how I feel about books and research and stuff that I've been waiting for. Came downstairs. UPS truck was pulling away, but they weren't walking away from my house. They was walking away from my neighbor's house. I'm like, oh man, maybe they came to my house first, which they did, right? And it was in this big box sitting right beside my door, and it's just as big as Oahspe. Right, we'll get back to this real quick. Let me show you. Matter of fact, Oahspe, the Holy Megillah, and this Radiance book is the same size. This is Radiance, right? And if I remember correctly, they said they was gonna start selling this Radiance along with this as a set. But everybody who had already ordered this, they sent them this for free if you just email them. And I posted it yesterday. This is Oahspe. This is Radiance. And this gets more into, okay, so the first half of the book, the first 700 pages of this, and this is like 900 and this is 962, 63, 64, 65, 66, like 966 pages, right? And the first 700 is like it's essays, lectures, inspirationals, and dawn writings as published in the bi-monthly journal Radiance. But I was reading through some of this, and it's worded like, I'm like, I feel the same way about this that I feel about Oahspe. And I'm like, this had to come from a higher realm, because who can put these words together like this to make sense like this, to look at things in the spiritual realm like we've never seen them before? And I'm just like, this is crazy. So that's part one. Then part two is other books, right? Listen, healing currents from the battery of life, like healing currents, like electrical currents, healing currents from the battery of life, 1904. Mystic words of mighty power, 1905. Doors of life, 1909. Concord of creators, circa 1930, and Pathway of Light, circa 1936. So I jumped around in this just a little bit yesterday. My husband came in, he was like, you ordered another? I said, no, this is Radiance. Oh my gosh. And I started pointing out some of the stuff, and he came over here because we was right here yesterday. I was like, look at this. Look at some of what this stuff is saying in here. And he came over, he was like, and so he was standing here a few minutes. He was like, wait, who wrote this? I said, the publishers of this book right here, they printed it. I'm not quite sure how they got the words in it that they did. I said, I just got it. Like, I've been just kind of skimming through it, like the last hour or so. I said, I don't have all the details yet. I said, but this is amazing, some of the stuff. And when I went to drop my kids off I went to drop them off at their tutoring. I dropped this off. I told my mom, I said, look, I'm going to leave it with you for like the 2 hours while they're tutoring. Then when I drop Jonathan back off, I'm going to get it back. So when she had it for 2 hours, she said, oh my God, she texted me before I had even come back to get it. And she said, I've already put my order in for this. She said, this is amazing. So listen, y'all, it's free. Go to the community section, and on my Facebook page, listen, go get the instructions to this. I left the website where this is at, where you mail it. Where you send the email to. They say just email them. If you've already purchased a copy of Oahspe, they will send you this for free, right? But they said they're not sure how long they're going to continue offering it for free. But for the time being, they're going to keep giving it to those who already have this. Because if you read this is like another level up. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? I'm like, we got to add it to the lineup. Let me go back to this. Hold on. It's the type of book you could start up with having a cup of coffee or hot chocolate. Yes, like every day. My husband stood here for a little bit going through some of the stuff. He was like, wow, this is good. My husband say that. I'm like, yo, listen. Okay, she will wait till you see the PDF link. I'm trying to send out another book called Sun Rays of Radiance. It's attached to my email. Okay, Shebrew, did they also do that too? Because I didn't go through like their whole catalog. Look, I'm still trying to. We ain't even started the actual reading today. I'm trying to finish up my what I was saying to y'all yesterday, trying to get through this so y'all can see it. Okay. All right, y'all. I be getting sidetracked with new books and reference materials and stuff. Okay, look, go back to this. Page 87. Okay. Let me start at 29 again, because this is the whole point of why I went here, but I wanted to keep it in its full context so you can see what Elijah was talking about, how it was saying that we are seen like from the spiritual realm, like we are known by the light that comes from us, right? How we raise people up in Oahspe, it talks about us raising in grades, like that is seen by those in the spiritual world clearly. Well, we can only see like flesh unless we have spiritual eyes to see, and our eyes are open to see as we watch people operate, or how they move or how they speak. We would have to observe a little bit to be able to pinpoint, but they can, like, right from that side, they can see who faking the funk and who not, right? And who is excelling and raising up others. Listen, verse 29. Behold, Yisrael is one nation united in Ma'aseh Kodesh, which is holy work. Wherefore all citizens of Yisrael perform Maseh Yah, the work of Yah. Yea, all are Osim. All are workers. That's what Osim is. Every member of this nation performs the, and it has with the two apostrophes, the raising up of one's self and others. For we are Nazarenes. Every Nazarene is a healer of the nations, for we live and teach the Essene way. Even so, we express Ma'aseh Kodesh in a variety of ways according to the Oseh Zadek, which is the righteous activity of the 12 tribes of workers, right? Listen, I call them 12 tribes of Israel, but it's the 12 tribes of workers who work to raise people up in the righteous ways of life, right? That takes away, if we even said it like that when referring to the nation of Israel, the whole racism portion of fighting against other nations, well, you going to hell because we the favorite people. No, the favorite people is the ones walking in righteousness. And they have all flavors and colors and ethnicities and backgrounds, and we all over the world, right? Shalom. All of these things. Hold on. Tiffany, I responded. I'll go back. Maybe you sent me another email. I'll resend it. Okay. Still waiting for my email. I got you, cousin. Look. Okay. Even so, we express Ma'aseh Kodesh in a variety of ways, according to the Oseh Zadek, which is the righteous activity of the 12 tribes of workers. And after Oseh Zedek, it has reference number 13, and it gives you the definition down here, but it also gives it to you the short, sweet definition actually in the reading, which is righteous activity. But let me read what 13 says. The Hebrew term Oseh Zedek means righteous activity. The word Oseh means activity. The word Zedek, depending on the context, can be translated either as righteous or just. In this context, it means righteous. Verse 35. Yea, the Kebuzot of Yisrael shall be of Shanaim Asar Shevet Ha-Ovdim, which is 12 tribes of workers. And that's what Elijah was talking about. But that's like the second time it mentioned that. What did I do with my highlights? Let me get another one. Okay, and after Shanaim Asar Shevet Ha-Ovdim is reference number 14. And 14 says, Shanaim Asar Shevet Ha-Ovdim means 12 tribes of workers. Lo, each tribe is a spoke of the one will that is the one nation of Yisrael. Therefore, the 12 tribes will not live separately from one another, but will live amongst each other. For behold, a will missing any spokes will collapse. Therefore, when conditions permit, the Nazarene nation shall form Kebuzot, and each Kabutsa will strive to enlist members of each tribe. Now behold the 12 tribes of workers of the one nation of Yisrael. And that's what we're going to pause right here. Okay, let me go back real quick to see if Elijah, for the other portion, it's in here. He said, we're like beacons of light amongst the nations of darkness to help purify the world with the Creator's all highest light. Yes, absolutely. Hold on. Go to Elijah's comment. Okay. It's not in chapter 14, the 300. It's not in chapter 14. The 360-degree knowledge is in the introduction of the holy. It's an introduction. Wait, are you talking about the electronic, Elijah? You talking about the electronic version? You talking about with that portion? Y'all talking about the electronic version, right? Because there's a portion where it talks about the elders from Kenya and those who are protecting the scrolls up there where this information was pulled from. Talking about the electronic version because that's an electronic version. That's not in this. They added that and they put the PDF version, they attached it to that. Yes? Okay. Okay, so I read that before. I read it, but let me see. Got all these thick books. Hold on. I can pull it up right here real quick. This was the Holy Megillah, the Nazarene Bible of the Essene Way. We was just bringing out this point we was talking about yesterday. Prince. It was on page 86 and 87. It's one chapter, but we didn't read the whole chapter. Just that little portion talking about the light, our light, and how we're to raise up others. On page, we read page 85 and 86, and a little bit. We read verses 1 through 39 from pages 85 to 87, chapter 14, in the fourth candle, the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. In the book of Oahspe, we haven't started yet, but we're on chapter 12, and we're gonna get to that in a second. We have 47 minutes. Let me see real quick. Hold on. Okay, here. Ein Sof, which means without limit. Okay, so I got it here in the introduction. I'll reread it again, right? Okay. Ancient manuscripts. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna read it. It's this short little half a page, and then we're gonna hop over here back to the Oahspe. Okay, so this is if you have the electronic version, and I gotta put this right here. I'm sorry, Facebook, because I can't read that. Let me just hold this so you can see me sideways for a second. Okay. It says it's talking about the Holy Megillah, right? Remember, I told you there's this lawsuit going on with this book because they were saying this information was taken from the Holy Scrolls. They got a copy of it, and they like, who leaked this information from the scrolls? They should be protected, right? But I'm like, give it to the world. So this is what the elders in Kenya are saying. They're going to put it out. What they don't like about how the Holy Megillah was formed, they said they added information in there from multiple levels of wisdom and understanding that shouldn't be combined together. Not that it's bad information, but it's good, which is why they leaked it themselves, right? When they're saying keep it secret, but because it's not really theirs, they just got the scrolls and they translated them from their original language. They let you know that the information here is good, but some of the information should be kept separate with its appropriate information for that particular degree level, so to speak, right? So they're mixing like basic, not that they're mixing it together, but the books are combined. Some of them are combined, like the elementary understanding versus the college level understanding, where you would get this, yes, this is here, but it should be over here. You shouldn't be learning this yet. You have all of this to make sure you understand before you get here, right? So that what they got, they translate it and they put it in one book. Okay, so this is what this is. If you have the electronic version, like I said, if you don't have it, just email me. This secret scroll is being investigated by the African Diaspora's Ambassador's Office in America for the Holy Mountain in Kenya. Investigation began on 12/21/2020. We have confirmed ancient manuscripts were indeed translated to produce these teachings, and we even confirmed that numerous teachings in this scroll are more authentic than all the mainstream narratives about Adam, Eve, Abraham, Noah, Sarah, Moses, Yeshua, etc. And we do advise all Black people to read this scroll while we work on delivering the original scroll protected at the Holy Mountain. However, we received evidence that the translation, and let me just go back just in case you weren't here the first time I read this. They're not being racist, but what they're saying, they're not that anybody's higher than anybody else, but some people have I ain't gonna say a higher degree of understanding, but certain groups of people were entrusted with certain things by the Creator, right? So certain groups of people are known for certain things. It's just the Black people are known for this particular thing, right? And so when we mix together and we come together with all the other backgrounds and people of other colors, we bring our gift, right? Just like they people say, can't nobody sing like the Black church or the Black people, their voices, not that other races can't sing. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. But there's like this certain frequency that comes from people with melanin. Not that lighter skinned people can't blow, because I didn't heard some people fairer skin of other ethnicities that can sing, and I'm like, wait, is they Black? You know, they got that same type of frequency coming out of them. So this is what this is referring to. It's not being racist or anything. All right, listen. We do advise all Black people to read this scroll while we work on delivering the original scroll protected at the Holy Mountain. However, we received evidence that the translation team compiled this body of work from various ancient manuscripts that were not intended by the original authors to be combined together and presented to humanity as one single body of work. Some of the manuscripts used for this were authored by African high priests who had 360-degree secret wisdom. Other manuscripts obviously come from East Asian, Indian wisdom traditions, which are not 360-degree level, but still help to increase peace and love. As a result, not all teachings reflect the consistency of secret knowledge from 360-degree high priests of Africa, but various teachings in this scroll do reflect that, referring to the Holy Megillah, right? Regardless, don't let that deter you from gaining the valuable insight contained in this body of work for your journey. There are priceless, relevant lessons in this scroll that pertain to the COVID era we're living in now, and everyone should know what this scroll says about what's happening. Lastly, another reason not to worry is because the original Kabiru or Hebrew scroll is protected at the Holy Mountain in Kenya in the Ark of the Covenant. And part of the great investigation will be to compare this secret Nazarite scroll with the original scroll at the Holy Mountain from inside the Ark of the Covenant. The chief seer of Mount Kenya has given the green light for the original scroll to be declassified and taught to the world. Okay, and so that's what he was talking about when he was talking about that. Okay, y'all. So I hope that kind of brings a little bit more clarity to the comment yesterday that we made. So I wanted to, if we would have got into that yesterday, we would have been like 3 hours long, right? So I didn't think I was going to take that long, but I wanted to finish that comment from yesterday before we end it, because I couldn't find it. And I told y'all I'd bring it out today. So that's that, right? So let's move on. We may not get to the field guide to the spirit world today. We already at 54 minutes. So let's go ahead to the book of Oahspe real quick and get in one, possibly two chapters because they're real short. Chapter 12 on page 77. The voice of Jehovah spake through God, saying, because a new heaven is established, and because the old hath been raised up, let signs be manifested, whereby men and angels and after times may know what hath happened. For it shall come to pass in latter days that men and angels may forget the flood and the purging of the earth. Bethink ye, O gods and goddesses, what shall be done? Eolate spake in behalf of the council, saying, what shall we do, O Jehovah? And Jehovah answered, saying, because I come near the earth in its early days, and farther off as it groweth older, men will say, alas, the folly of the ancients. For I gave fear and faith as a heritage when men are weak in judgment. But with the growth of wisdom, I take away fear and the substance of things not proven to the judgment. That is good. Let me highlight that. I didn't highlight it the first time. Let me read that again. Verse 2. Let me read the whole verse instead of just the last half. Eolate spake in behalf of the council, saying, what shall we do, O Jehovah? And Jehovah answered, saying, because I come near the earth in its early days, and farther off as it groweth older, men will say, alas, the folly of the ancients. For I gave fear and faith as an heritage when men are weak in judgment. But with the growth of wisdom, I take away fear and the substance of things not proven to the judgment. Jehovah said, in Cosmon, men and angels shall ask for proof. Men and angels. Imagine your angels asking for proof. First of all, homie, why you asking? Like, I'm going to ask you why you asking for proof. And you at a higher level than me. Like, what's really going on? Look, Jehovah said in Cosmon, men and angels shall ask for proofs. And clearly, these is going to be the ones that's in the lower levels, right? Because they know just as much as the first level do, just a little bit more of the spiritual realm because they did what they done picked up, right? But they only know as much. They only know as much for the level that they're raised on, right? So anything higher to them, they ask them for proofs too. Jehovah said in Cosmon, men and angels shall ask for proofs. One will say, how is it possible to relate the words spoken in the olden time? Another will say, how can it be proven that the old heaven was taken away? Hear, therefore, the words of your Creator. And when one saith, behold, in those days few men had the gift of words and speech, answer ye him, saying, even so was it in heaven, and because they had not words, they could not be made to understand. And another shall say, the Creator ruleth in large matters, but not in the small. And another shall say, because the angels come in Cosmon, I'm sorry. And another shall say, the Creator ruleth in large matters, but not in the small. And another shall say, because the angels come in Cosmon, so could they in the olden time. And ye shall answer them, saying, who knoweth the plan for an earthquake, whether it be small or large before Jehovah? Is he not ever present? And do not certain conditions bring certain results? And they answered, yea. Say ye, give then a name to the highest cause beyond all research. And they will say, by the ancients called Jehovah. And they shall perceive that they have entangled themselves in a net. For if the condition of ignorance on earth begot ignorance in heaven, how could the light of heaven come afterward to the earth, save from above? Since then the light of heaven came from above, who should invent the wisdom of a flood to come upon the speech of nations? Give them, therefore, words in heaven and words on earth, which are of matters of this nature, and make the sound thereof sacred, so that it shall be proven in Japheth and Shem and Ham and Guatama, and in the heavens thereunto belonging, the voice of Jehovah cease. So this here is letting you know that Japheth, Shem, and Ham The three sons of Noah. Listen, the three sons of Noah, right? These were in Oahspe. We learned that these three sons are actually three places inside of the ark, inside of the ark of Noah, or the time span of Noah, right? They took a time span and named it Noah, made it a person. The Bible is famous for this, right? They take everything and they condense it into one person, right? To teach you the story. But they never tell you that they're condensing nations into one, right? They don't tell you that they're condensing time spans into one person, right? It's real interesting. Give them therefore words in heaven and words on earth, which are of matters of this nature, and make the sounds thereof sacred, so that it shall be proven in Japheth and Shem and Ham and Guatama. And Guatama is who the Bible leaves out, that particular landmass, which is the Americas, right? North and south, right? And in the heavens thereunto belonging. Hold on. Give them therefore words in heaven and words on earth, which are of matters of this nature, and make the sounds thereof sacred, so that it shall be proven in Japheth and Shem and Ham and Gautama, and in the heavens thereunto belonging. The voice of Jehovah ceased. God said, Thou art all wisdom, O Jehovah. Now I have a place for the new volunteers to come from for I'm sorry. Now I have a place for the new volunteers come from Ether. For this shall be their matter and business with the familiars who dwell with the barbarians. So accordingly they were allotted, and they were enjoined to sing to mortals the song of the flood, and they thus established its inventory. And they thus established its history to endure forever on earth. Next chapter, chapter 13, or chapter XIII. I don't doubt that one bit, Jamil. She said, based on what I was told, there are things missing about Gautama and Oahspe too. I'm absolutely sure there are, right? Which is why I'm super excited about getting these John lamp plates. I ain't got them yet, y'all. They're still working on them. She sent me a picture of the particular box file that they had it in, and they're loose leaf pieces of paper. All right, babe. Love you too. Not loose leaf, but they it looked like printer paper, but they have it all in a box. Like if you go buy like a box of folders or something, they got them all in this box, and because they're older, they were probably scanning them one by one. You know how sometimes you can scan a stack of papers, put them in a scanner. Because they're so old, they have to be careful with it. So I'm interested in getting that to see what things have been added, what's been taken away from the actual original um, uh, uh, event, right? Because we know after John Newborough gave that to the original printer, his Masonic friends got a hold of him, right? Because he let them read it as well. There's like, whoa, we can't let this get out to the public. We need to keep some of this for ourselves, just like they do, keeping things secret, right? So we trying to get those things that there's like, change this to this, and they put some of their little Masonic rites and stuff in here, which we can see through the book of Safa, right? We should read Oahspe Apocrypha too. I haven't, I think it was online. I think on Sacred Text. Sacred Text has a lot of scrolls and stuff, right? Oahspe is even there, and I seen it. I believe it was there on Sacred Text where it has Oahspe Apocrypha, and I clicked on. I can't even tell you what books that I saw there, because that's when I first found out that it was one online, and I didn't spend a lot of time going through it because I was still going through this and trying to make sure I understood all this, right? So that's good. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna visit that. I don't know, y'all. We got a lot of stuff we got in the lineup. We'll see, because we know some of the apocryphal stuff that they call the apocrypha for the Bible. There's some stuff that they probably should have kept in there, right? Because it would have kept the questions going. Like, wait a minute. So if this is referring to this, what are you talking about? They try to take all the bits and pieces that alludes to anything else. So there's like, this is all we got right here. Torah, that's it. Bible, this is all we got right here. But they left a few things in there, right? So I'm like, wait, it referred to this. What is this? Where is this found at? Where is this prophet's book at? Where is this? Right? So that's what started me asking questions like, wait, there's more? Let's find that. Okay, chapter 13, then we're going to pause. We're on page 77, Book of Oahspe, Son of Jehovah, chapter 13. All things prospered in heaven for many years. Remember, this is what's happening after the recent sinking of Pan, right? They're bringing order back to stuff, right? And they're getting things going again so we can continue raising up the generations of men that passed through here. All things prospered in heaven for many years, nor were there great wars on earth, nor famines, nor epidemics. And the lords of the earth had sufficient Lewis for all the faithless, so as to control, so as to control Ehim marriages, to bring forth sons and daughters who would rejoice in heaven. And as fast as they died on the earth, these angels were carried to heavenly places suited to them, where they were handed into the care of Asaph and entered as Ezians. But the Lord appointed okay. Nothing. I was trying to see who that was because normally y'all punch in the code.
No.
Okay, what you missing?
Oh, my head.
Oh. And as fast as they died on earth, these angels were carried to heavenly places suited to them, where they handed into the care of Asaph's, where they were handed into the care of Asaph and entered as Ezians. But the Lord's appointed no Lewis over the barbarians, and only commanded the Ashars to watch for their spirits in the hour of death, and if possible, to bring them to the organic places of God and Horeb. Oh, okay. Let me keep going. I thought when I reread it, I skipped a line, but that's actually up in the first verse. Okay. And mostly they were so bored. This continued for many years. But in course of time, the familiar spirits aroused up the barbarians, and they began to have dreams and see visions, for their familiars talked to them during sleep. I remember the first time reading over this, I'm like, oh, snap. We need to pay attention to our dreams, because all the time, it ain't the creator talking to us. You got to be able to decipher between the two. Just like that. Okay. Hold on. Let me read all of verse 2 again. Okay, babe. And as fast as they died on earth, these angels were carried to heavenly places suited to them, where they were handed into the care of Asaph and entered as Ezians. But the Lord appointed no Lewis over the barbarians, and only commanded the Ashars to watch for their spirits in the hour of death, and if possible, to bring them to the organic places of God and Horeb. And mostly they were so bought. This continued for many years, but in course of time, the familiar spirits aroused up the barbarians, and they began to have dreams and see visions, for their familiars talked to them during sleep. And when this became common, Jehovah said, behold, the time is come to appoint Lewis to abide with the barbarians. For herein will I reveal a great secret, which is that my chosen on earth cannot subdue it, for they are a harmless and defenseless people. Therefore I have created the barbarian wisely, for he shall drive away and destroy all evil beasts and serpents, and the forest shall fall down before him. For this purpose the Lewis shall select marriages with the view of raising up great kings and queens. But since in the olden time, the kings depended on the prophets of God for counsel, and thus were advised against killing anything that I have created alive. They quarreled. So in this time of the new heaven, ye shall permit the kings and queens to consult the spirits of the dead with the talents I have given them. And clearly we can see that throughout the Bible, right? Especially in the Old Testament, right? With the kings, Queen of Sheba, right? The kings consulting the prophets, Listen. For this purpose shall the Lewis select marriages with the view of raising up great kings and queens. But since in the olden time the kings depended on the prophets of God for counsel, and thus were advised against killing anything I had created alive, they quarreled. So in this time of the new heaven, ye shall permit the kings and queens to consult the spirits of the dead with the talents I have given them. This was done also, and the barbarians were attended by familiar spirits, many of whom who took upon themselves any name pleasant to the ear, some of them calling themselves God or Lord, or after the name of some great king of the olden time. And these familiars, being stupid, supposed themselves to be such persons. The result of their stupid impression. I'm just laughing because they're using the word stupid. Hold on. Auntie, shalom. I'm a bit late, gonna have to rewind and start over. Love, light, and healings, Auntie. Nazarene Singh said, I'm still trying to make it through Oahspe myself. I'm at the beginning of the book of Fragapati. I have a way to go. I love the book of Fragapati. We laughed at the name for a little while. Then it was like, yo, Fragapati, that dude. I'm probably saying the name wrong, right? So I heard somebody saying Fragapati is the wrong way to pronounce it. I'm still waiting for somebody to actually do the definition, not the definition, the pronunciation with the spaces and the dashes with the way it sounds, right? This word is pronounced like this, right? You got to break it down, right? Because I really would. If I'm saying it the wrong way, even my husband joked about Fragapati. He said that can't be the way you say that. If anybody know the correct pronunciation, please help all us out, right? Somebody said Cosmon knew. I'm not sure if he here, but if you know Cosmon, type it out or do like a 1-minute video and say it and post it so we can hear it, right? Okay. Listen. Okay. Verse 5, page 78. This was done also, and the barbarians were attended by familiar spirits, many of whom who took upon themselves any name pleasant to the ear, some of them calling themselves God or Lord, or after the name of some great king of the olden time. And these familiars, being stupid, supposed themselves to be such persons. The result of their stupid impressions was to inspire the barbarians to believe they were attended by gods or lords, or by the spirits of kings or queens. And so they held up their heads and began to think. For as it had been said by the gods of ancient times, some are led by flattery, some by self conceit, some by duty, some by love of righteousness, but there are others who can be led to self improvement by persuading them they are chosen, especially by some god or lord or the spirit of a renowned king or queen to work wonders. That is amazing. That takes the wisdom of a creator to do something like that. He takes all things bad and turn it into something good. Like, let them go ahead and run that course. I got something for them. They gonna still be all right in the end. Just watch me work. Watch me work. Look, let me read this again. Let me go back to verse 4. Keep it all in its proper context. For this purpose, the Lewis shall select marriages with the view of raising up great kings and queens. But since in the olden time the kings depended on the prophets of God for counsel, and thus were advised against killing anything I had created alive, they quarreled. So in this time of the new heaven, ye shall permit the kings and queens to consult the spirits of the dead with the talents I have given them. This was done also, and the barbarians were attended by familiar spirits, many of whom who took upon themselves any name pleasant to the ear, some calling themselves God or Lord, or after the name of some great king of the olden time. And these familiars, being stupid, supposed themselves to be such persons. The result of their stupid impressions was to inspire the barbarians to believe they were attended by gods or lords, or by the spirits of kings or queens. And so they held up their heads and began to think. For as it had been said by the gods of ancient times, some are led by flattery, some by self conceit, some by duty, some by love of righteousness. But there are others who can be led to self improvement by persuading them they are chosen, especially by some God or Lord or the spirit of a renowned king or queen to work wonders. God said there was a certain sick man who could not be cured by the physicians. So there came a foolish woman, seeing visions, and said to the sick man, tomorrow thou shalt be healed. God hath been trying thee, but thou hast proven thyself in soul, and thy God will withdraw the spell of thy infirmity. Behold, thy God standeth by thee. Now, on the following day, the sick man put forth his own spirit and rose up and was well. Wherefore it hath been adjudged, even deceit may accomplish what truth could not. That is a whole teaching by itself. Listen, you know what's crazy? That's talking about being able, this right here is talking about the power of the mind and being able to control it. Here in this book, Radiance, in the back, right? It gives you a good little, I told you I was jumping around. I'm already in the back of the book. In this section, Healing Currents from the Battery of Life, it talks about like how to heal the mind, like all of this stuff, a healing prayer. But there is something, soul development, self-treatment, there was something in here, healing treatment for the eyes, the digestive disturbances, healing peace, mind masters matter. There it is. Right here. That, and it was another one. Hold on. And as I was reading through some of this, I like how they got it broken up. There's a section in here, uh, exercise your imagination, deny mental weakness, treatment for depression. Like all of this, this is amazing to me, right? And it talks a lot, kind of, it puts you in the mind frame of like book one of the Scenes Gospel of Peace. When I say this stuff is great, this stuff is great. I would read some of this, but I think we actually going to read this whole thing. I'm not going to read this section today. We'll come back to this, but it talks a lot about the mind and being able to control this body we have. Remember how I mentioned, like our body is literally like a vehicle that we need to learn how to drive. Everybody pretty much just operating by default. Spirit, yeah, we go to the bathroom, we eat to keep it going, we exercise, we bathe it. But there are so many more things that this body can do, right? That we should be understanding, like it with meditation, like for instance, meditation, like you can literally transcend. How say it this way? You can let me not say that because somebody gonna probably try to screw up my words. You're able to tap into spiritual things, right? You can pull information from the spiritual realm just by disciplining this, right? You can meditate, you can find it. People call it different things in different places, even in the church, right? They If you get disciplined with praying in tongues, that's how I started originally tapping into this. By when I was a Christian, being actually disciplined, like when I learned something, like I really start practicing it just to see, okay, is this really true? I've always been a tester of things. And I found out just by being disciplined and praying in tongues that the spiritual realm opens up to you. And I found out that when I pray at a period of time, it kicks in at about the 5th hour. When I used to do the all-nighter prayers, this is when I really got a taste of what this really does when you're disciplined. When you can sit one period of time, and meditation is the same thing. When I started looking into this and looking into the meditation and chanting, all of this is accomplishing the same exact thing. Different places just call it different things. And the church teaches you to ignore what everybody else is doing. Chanting, oh my gosh, that's of the devil, that's new age. No, you're doing the same thing. You're just calling it something different, but you call it praying in tongues. But the whole point, it's not the tongue you're praying in. It's the discipline that you're putting your body under to quiet it down, to align yourself to the frequency of the spiritual realm, which is why when you do that for long periods of time, or if you meditate consistently over, like if you have a consistent, you don't have to sit. Listen, you get the same results if you decide to do all nights of prayer where you combine all that time into one period, or you do it consistently over a period of time at the same time every single day for like the same length of time. For some reason, you get them same results, right? You can tap into the spiritual realm. When I sit for 5 hours and pray in tongues, I call them spiritual gifts, they will literally turn on like a switch is flipped on, and I can see into the spiritual realm. The visions get clear. I already hear now just by my regular walking, waking life. I can hear things spiritually, but it gets really clear and really, I ain't gonna say loud, but it's almost like I'm literally walking in another realm. That's what happens when you do that, right? You can see people who have a discipline in doing that, and their spiritual growth seems to it like when you talk to them, it's like, oh my gosh, are you always connected to heaven? No, that shows you there's a discipline that they've gotten a hold of and they've applied to their life, where the spiritual, they have become a light for the spiritual realm to get information to the people who are walking here. Like, everybody, please get in line. People like, this is what the Father is saying, right? And the information, you don't ask for it, but you kind of just put yourself in that flow, and you just kind of, everything is being funneled because you become an open channel now, right? I know some people don't like the word channel, but that's essentially what happens. You become what do you say, a medium for the information to flow through. You just happen to be the right person at the right place at the right time on the right frequency where the information can flow through. That's what praying in tongues does. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you don't want to pray in tongues, you can pick a word, right? You can pick a Eastern word. You can pick Om. I've tested it with a few different things. We talked about this a while. You can pick a word. You can pick peace. If you don't know, you can speak the name of the creator, whatever you deem the creator's name to be, and you can sit and you can repeat that one word or the name of the creator, and you will get the same results. Remember, it's not really about what you're saying. It's about the discipline of this to tune you. It's really a tuning mechanism for your flesh and your spirit, so information from the spiritual realm can flow to you and through you. I'm telling you, go test it. Go test it. It will blow your mind. Listen, okay, so some things it's like you can't really talk to people if they don't go test it, right? For us to really have a decent intellectual enriching conversation about this, I'm gonna need you to go test this first, and then we'll come back and talk about it. But that's like trying to talk to people about Oahspe and they trying to dispute it and stuff. Have you read it yet? Then we don't even need to be having this conversation, because we're not gonna see eye to eye. You have no clue, like you have no reference point from what the information from a higher level that I'm bringing to you. So let's shelf this conversation for the time being. I'll give you, it took me 6 months to read through the whole book. 6 months. Let's reconvene, right? And let's now have this conversation, right? If you want to talk to somebody about spiritual things, oh, have you had a spiritual experience? You know what? You can induce one. I'm not saying go and do spiritual experiences, right? I'm just saying, for those who are truly searching for the light of the creator, when your heart is true, right? When you're really on the path to truth, because this is what people get mixed up, and they start talking about new age and you get all spooky and people like, I was there, the devil didn't grab a hold of me. You were probably not sincere about what you were doing. You were probably trying to pull something like who was the dude in the New Testament? Hey, what's that? How y'all do that? How much I gotta pay you? Teach me how to do that. Paul, I know. Jesus, I know. But who is you, right? You gonna get the results that he got, and you gonna be running out the house screaming with your hair on fire, like naked, like the 7 sons of Sceva, because your intents and your heart was not pure when you were going in, right? You can't fool the spiritual realm, right? So I say you can induce this if your heart is pure and you're truly searching for the creator and you're searching for truth, right? Ask the Father to lead you step by step, right? And what'll begin to happen, the spiritual realm will begin to open up to you as you become disciplined. Help them help you, right? Pick something, stick with it, get disciplined with it. Help me help you, right? Because I can't just give you this and you ain't even disciplined to do this. Help me help you. Then we'll open this up a little bit and you can see, like, oh my gosh, right? Yes, wrong motives will send you to the same place the 7 sons of Sceva ran to. Don't do it, right? So if your heart is not pure, you just, well, let me just do it to see if this works. You might want to wait a little bit. I'm telling you, you might want to wait a little bit. Wait till your motives are pure, right? If you're not quite sure, just be like, Father, I don't really know about this, but I really want to know the truth, but I don't really know. I don't want to get caught up in no crap. I don't want to be demon possessed, but I need to know the truth. I think you will be okay if your heart is like you're still skeptical, but you need to test some things just to make sure people ain't leading you astray. And I think your heart is right. And keep on moving. Find the discipline, stick to it. They waiting on the road for you to get there. They were like, man, I thought you'd never get here. Let us show you something. Look, Bronze, yo, what's funny is when they repeat Jesus over. What's funny is when they repeat Jesus over and over and over to get them in the zone, it's holy. But when a Hindu does it with another name, it's the devil, right? That's what I'm saying. The Christians, they tell you everybody else is of the devil, right? You ain't never seen miracles done in another name other than Jesus. Well, I have, right? And that baffled me, like, how? I thought people only could get healed in the name of Jesus. What is going on here? They don't want to talk about that when you ask them. Nope, there was a miracle of the devil. Even Satan can be an angel of light. I'm like, y'all is foolish. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut. Matter of fact, my ride to Oklahoma is here. I'll catch y'all. And I don't know why I choose to say I'm going to Oklahoma. When I say, you know what, I'm going to Oklahoma, that means I'm leaving from out of this realm of foolishness right now. I'm getting out of here. That's simply what I mean. I don't really know what's in Oklahoma. I'm just, the first time I said it, I just thought it was funny. I just kind of stuck with it. Bye, y'all. I'm going to Oklahoma. Bye. Right? Because they might have some sane people over there, right? They might be acting with some sense. Let's go back to this. Okay, so we got over here with Radiance, where it's talking about the mind and how powerful it is. You literally can change your life if you can change your mind. If people get control of this, like sicknesses, they won't succumb to some of this. But somebody, if you have a weak mind, you can go to the doctor and they can tell you something. They can tell you you're going to die in 6 months. And sometimes people die in 2 months because they believe what the doctor said. The words of the doctor have more sway over them and their mind than they did themselves. Right? That should not have happened. People can go and they get that same diagnosis, like, no. And then they get serious about their life. Nope, I know you said I got 6 months, but I don't believe you are the creator of these bodies. I believe there's a way to fix it. And a lot of times those are the survivors. They live to tell the story, right? They live to help other people get free because they get control of this. And that fear that would have had control of them, they mastered it. Right? And so they become the saviors and the messiahs, right? All right, let's go back to this. If y'all ain't got this Radiance book, order it. They're giving it away for people who've already ordered Oahspe for free right now. They're giving it to us for free. Go get it. Just email them, say, please send me a copy of this. I have purchases, and no matter where you purchase Oahspe from, right? They say you could have got it directly from them. You could have got it through Amazon or any other venue or any other place. If you have it, they're going to take your word for it and they're going to send you a copy, right? Because I don't think anybody is going to go lie, be like, yo, let me get a copy of that book of Radiance. I already got Oahspe, and when they ain't really got Oahspe, because if they ain't got Oahspe, they don't care about this, right? They know people who come and asking for that have probably really already got a copy of this, which is why they're going to send it to you for free, right? That's when it's seen. Pine saw heaven. Look, every time I hear Selah say that, he didn't added it to the chestnuts roasting on the open fire now. I was cracking up the other day. I'm like, you know what? I know I'd have heard this before. I'm like, where did Pine saw heaven come from? Right? Because at first I thought he made it up, but I was like, no, I've heard that before. It comes from Training Day. When you hear him playing chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Pine saw heaven. That's Denzel Washington's voice. I was screaming, laughing. I finally looked it up yesterday. I was like, that's right. That's Denzel Washington. Okay, let's get back to it. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's finish this chapter. We gotta go. It's 12 verses. Let's go to verse 4 again. Okay. Focus, Pamela. For this purpose, The Lewis shall select marriages with the view of raising up great kings and queens. But since in the olden time the kings depended on the prophets of God for counsel, and thus were advised against killing anything I had created alive, they quarreled. So in this time of the new heaven, ye shall permit kings and queens to consult the spirits of the dead with the talents I have given them. This was done also, and the barbarians were attended by familiar spirits, many of who took upon themselves any name pleasant to the ear, some of them calling themselves God or Lord, or after the name of some great king of the olden time. And these familiars, being stupid, supposed themselves to be such persons. The result of their stupid impressions was to inspire the barbarians to believe they were attended by gods or lords, or by the spirits of kings and or by the spirits of kings or queens. And so they held up their heads and began to think. For as it had been said by the gods of ancient times, some are led by flattery, some by self-conceit, some by duty, some by love of righteousness. But there are others who can be led to self-improvement by persuading them they are chosen, especially by some god or lord, or the spirit of a renowned king or queen to work wonders. God said, there was a certain sick man who could not be cured by the physicians. So there came a foolish woman seeing visions and said to the sick man, tomorrow thou shalt be healed. God hath been trying thee, but thou hast proven thyself in soul, and thy God will withdraw the spell of thy infirmity. Behold, thy God standeth by thee. Now, on the following day, the sick man put forth his own spirit and rose up as well. Therefore, it hath been adjudged, even deceit may accomplish what truth could not. That's what I wanted to highlight. Now, on the following day, the sick man, put forth his own spirit and rose up and was well. Wherefore, it hath been adjudged, even deceit may accomplish what truth could not. Suffer the familiars to lead the barbarians on for a season, but be ye watchful at the proper time to appoint new spirits to be with them. God said, Instruct the lords that the time is now come to reveal to mortals, especially to the Ehines, the 7 tetracts. For as the Ashars are withdrawn apace, so shall mortals advance apace. Which is to say, these are the inheritances of all men born on the earth. Anash, which is persistent stubbornness, or by Anash, which is persistent stubbornness by word or thought. Zema, wicked device. Ra, delight in being bad. Belial, worthlessness. Aven, vanity and self-conceit. Dibba, slander and reporting of evils. And Satan, to be a leader, and especially to the delight of the other 6 entities. And these are the last 2 verses. These are the members of the beasts of all men and women under the sun, nor is anyone without them in some manner or degree. Go ye therefore to the lords and say to them, Jehovah hath set the beginning of the resurrection through Oahspe his son, chief of the ark of Noah, to lay the tetracts on the shoulders of mortals. The marshals of the council provided messengers who were at once sent down to the different divisions of the earth, for the tetracts were some of the worlds selected in heaven to be given as everlasting names, whereby in after ages the tribes of Faithists might be discovered, and they were given alike to the Faithists of Gautama, Japheth, Shem, and Ham, who were the sons of the ark of Noah, preserved on the earth in that day. For these words were provided in the Hebraic, Vedic, and Algonquin languages to be synonymous till the coming of the Cosmon era. And we can see all this in each religion or each section of the earth, continent, so to speak, has these similar stories, but a lot of people don't really understand the significance of the stories or how to actually unfold them to make them make sense today, right? They're still just looking at them as nice, sweet Bible stories. They don't have the revelation or the interpretation of these stories, right? They're still as parables to everybody. All right, so this is where we're going to pause at today, beautiful people. Oh yeah, hour and a half. We ain't gonna get to the field guide today. We already took up too much time because we started here with this section in a Holy Megillah, trying to finish the thought from yesterday. So we'll move this till tomorrow. But today was good anyhow, right? All right, y'all. So remember, in the community section, I copied from their website, and I also gave you the website link where you can go to the printers of Oahspe, where they're offering this. It's just as thick and just as many pages as Oahspe, adding in some other stuff that they have, and they translate it, and things that have happened from like the early 1900s. All this is in here, and it actually gives you practical ways, just like Essene's Gospel of Peace gives you practical ways on how to cleanse yourself, develop your spirit, raise yourself up, and raise others up as well, right? So it kind of gives us the I ain't gonna say step-by-step manual, right? It just kind of helps us along the way, right? So it's good. So get it. I'm recommending it, and that's free. Get it, y'all. If you got a Oahspe already, go get that. All right. So with that being said, beautiful people, it is Tuesday, December the 6th, 2022, day 281 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1301. Today we read in Oahspe, Book of Off, Son of Jehovah, pages 77 through 78, which was chapters 12 and 13. And at the beginning, we read in the Holy Megillah, chapter 14, which is pages 87 to 89, I think it was. Who was it? Yeah, I'm sorry. No, 85 to 87. Now, we'll recommend, because we didn't read all of it, right? This whole chapter is 300. How many verses is? And it's within the Nazarene book of Genesis, right? But this whole chapter 14 is 372 verses. Finish reading through it if you got it. If you got the electronic version, finish reading through it so you can see more about the light of what we were talking about. I didn't want to, read. I wanted to read the whole thing, but I didn't. We just kind of brought a few things out. But go finish reading the rest of it, right? It's really good. It's really good. I read a little bit more than what I read here, but I wanted to kind of keep it short, just kind of bring it out. But that wasn't the only point of light in there. But you'll see what I'm saying. Just go read it, and don't forget to read the footnotes at the bottom as well. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, you talking to somebody else? Cancel. Shebrew, you said. My radiance book took a while. I sent email in October. Right. They was still right. I sent my email in October as well. Those who order it now, I believe they're going to get it a lot sooner, because when they put that out, they let you know that it was still in the process of being printed. So all of them were still being, I guess the first batch was still being printed out. And they said once they got them back, they would start sending them out. But if you wanted it, just let them know. They'll put you on the list. And as soon as they got them, they'll start shipping them out. So they clearly, everybody just started getting them, everybody that's on the list. So I'm sure that if you order it today, I'm sure you'll probably have it in a week, because they already have their first batch or whatever. The first batch. Look, I want to say they tithing off their first batch, because they're giving them away for free. So in this first batch, y'all, where they're still offering it for free, everybody that's already got it, if you reach out to them, they're gonna send it to you. So I think you're gonna get it pretty soon. Shebrew said my radiance book took a while. I sent email in October. Got my book 2 days ago, a Sunday, late after 8 p.m. in the hood. That was funny. Yeah, they do. They respond quickly. Elijah said they respond quickly. The book of radiance is on its way already. Right? Because my mom, I told you at the beginning, I left this with my mom for 2 hours. And she texted me after she had about 15 minutes. She said, look, I just sent my email. I got to get this. And they responded to her. By the time I got back to her house, 2 hours later, they had already responded to her and let her know that they were dropping her a copy in the mail. So she should have hers, I want to say by the end of the week. What's today? Today, Tuesday. She probably should have by the end of the week, early next week. Right? Tabitha, I just seen your comment. I have a family member. She said God called her out from Christianity, but God tell her to continue reading the Bible. People, please help me understand this madness. Okay, so listen. I wouldn't necessarily say that she's hearing something wrong. She could be. I don't know. But when I came out, that was kind of like my process, right? So even though I came out of the 4 walls of the church, I had it up to here with the foolishness in between them 4 walls, right? I'm like, Father, I can't with them anymore. Maybe I'm being rebellious. I was like, but it seems like that, and I wasn't trying to make myself seem higher, but it seems like I was searching for something everybody else really wasn't. It's like they was content with coming there, getting a nice little stories and nice little sermons, and I'm really searching for how to grow. These spiritual things is happening to me. I'm looking for answers and stuff, and I just couldn't. And they keep repeating some of the same. Not that it's bad that you repeat lessons, because sometimes it's good to repeat things over and over so people get in the habit. But I'm just like, I feel like I've outgrown here. And then I felt like I was supposed to have been moved on, because you know how when people start being held back in grades, they become disruptive, right? Because first of all, you're so old to be sitting in this class. You should be up there. Why is you still here, big tail, sitting in this little kindergarten chair? That's what I felt like. And then I began to get frustrated with the people around me. And with the past, I'm like, well, maybe I'm really rebellious at heart. And they talk about the woman is rebellious. Eve calls Adam to sin. So I'm thinking, I was like, maybe it's me. I'm like, Father, but something. I was like, I don't feel this way, but I feel this way a little bit. Help me. Help me, help you, help me. Help me understand what's happening to me, right? So, but we got to the point, I was like, I just can't take this crap no more. And I refuse to keep my children going through cycles like this and I just felt like it was beginning to become a bondage. But when I came out, don't you have one upstairs? Yours is still sitting on the desk. All right. So I was like, Father, if I'm gonna find you, if I'm gonna hear from you, I'm gonna have to do it away from here. And I said, please forgive me if I'm doing something wrong, or help me, or lead me to the place where I should be. I said, but I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna keep reading my Bible. Like, because when I said that, I wasn't, you know how some people, they leave the 4 walls and then they completely backslide. I didn't do that. I probably started reading the Bible more than I ever had when I left out of the church. But that is what triggered my next level of growth, by constantly reading the Bible over and over. And then I was like, okay, I read over, I can almost repeat it verbatim now. You know what? Let me start looking up some of these words. And that's what started me on my path, and noticing the discrepancies within the text itself. And I started looking up different things. And then I came across the Apocrypha and I started looking into that. That's what literally started my growth. So I would not say it's madness, So if she really felt that, if Creator's truly talking to her, that probably is the path that she needs to go on. That was the path I took. All right. It seemed like madness, but it's really not. I am so far ahead of where I used to be before I came out of the 4 walls of the church. Like, I would never go back. I'm like, even when I pass on, don't have my service in the church walls. Y'all better have it out in the garden somewhere. Have my service in a garden. Don't put nobody inside the walls of the church. Right? There's freedom. Right? Okay. So, but yeah, Tabitha. All right. I think y'all probably just talking amongst yourself now. Link to send email for your radiance. Yeah, thank you, Shebrew. That's the link right there. If y'all didn't go to the community section of Facebook, she posted the link right there. Matter of fact, let me post it over here too in Facebook. just in case, because there's a few people over here. Hold on. Here's a link also. That way y'all got it. But I did. It's a whole post yesterday that I did for YouTube and Facebook. But here is the link. All right. Facebook, there it goes right there too. All right, y'all. So that's it. Let me see. I got one. I'm kind of play off what Tabitha just said. Father, we thank you for madness, or what we perceive to be madness, which is really not madness at all, right? Kind of go back to what we read here about the stupid impressions. Look, listen. Hold on, I need a different highlighter for this. Tabitha, listen. For it hath been said by the gods of ancient times, some are led by flattery, some by self-conceit, some by duty, some by love of righteousness, but there are others who can be led to self-improvement by persuading them they are chosen, especially by some god or lord or the spirit of a renowned king or queen to work wonders, right? So if she feel like the Lord or the creator or the father told her to come out to church, but to continue reading the Bible, that could be her path. It seemed like madness right now. It probably seemed like madness to a lot of people when I did it, because that's the exact road I took, right? But it's a way to break her away from the indoctrination and allow her eyes to be open while she does her own personal study. And these questions begin to formulate on the inside, right? So, but yeah, y'all. But that's it for today. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for always hanging out with me in the morning. This is great. I love y'all questions and stuff and what y'all share too. All right, so that's it, y'all. We out of here. I see y'all back here in the morning, bright and early. Lord, we moved to 6:15. I'm so used to saying 7:15. I gotta catch myself. Back here tomorrow morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Bye, y'all.